in my mouth. It's
I can't believe you still got some of those left.
Heck yeah, I do.
I did buy a few.
All right, did it come back?
Save them like
It looks
It
like
says
it.
we're live, and I don't know if it
Right.
created a new stream or not.
It picked
So
up right as I
Yeah.
was singing my Curly Whirly song.
yeah,
I think it's in the same one. I'm not sure. It's
Now
still,
you guys
it's
get
still-
to see me. Oh, I think it might have stopped again. Nope. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna go on mute because now that I got a mouthful of candy, you guys don't want to hear that.
yeah. Let's
So
just give it a second
Evan's
and see what
just-
it's doing.
Evan's just commented saying same page.
Same page. Let's see.
Didn't even have
seeing,
to refresh.
I'm not seeing a stream is the problem.
The Sage, I broke it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So we're not seeing the video still, are we?
Well, it looks like it's back up on Periscope.
Okay.
I'm just waiting. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube as well. I'm watching it.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm just looking at stream health and it's yellow and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 22 watching. It looks like it's coming back. All right. I got a marker, so we're good. Let's see. Okay.
Let me just
Man,
let me get the live back up.
buzzkill, wasn't it?
That was yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Anywho.
yeah. So they figured out that if they got 14 likes, like after posting in the first 10 minutes on FFF Found,
Yeah.
that they would go to the front page, and they were getting a lot of work from that because it was like everybody that they knew was kind of looking at that for kind of inspiration, what's going to be new. You know how like ad agencies work, they just like trawling Behance and all these other websites to kind of look for reference of what they're going to do. And obviously if you're on the front page, then you're going to be seen by a lot more people. So they just kind of figured that out just by accident, and they've kind of just, with their Instagram stuff, they do it in a really cool, like organic way where they'll have interns in and things like that, and they'll just like, well, listen, we haven't got that much like work on today. How about you do something that like you think is like cool?
Yeah.
You know, like getting the younger generation kind of involved, and then like they post that to their stories, or they post that as their Instagram post, like not necessarily like what work they've been doing or like trying to advertise their services or something like that. It's just like it like shows them in a better light, you know, rather than just like we're trying to force feed you like we do this work.
And I
know?
think it's a different feel though than dailies. This is not dailies.
Oh yeah, it's not. No, definitely not.
It's doing a project to do a cool little project, like the one I did
like
last
R&D.
week was just for fun. It was
Yeah.
R&D,
Yeah.
try something new, but maybe come up with a story, make it a GIF, something that can loop somehow. Even if it's not like seamless loop, even if it's like different shots and then it starts over, you know, whatever it is, but it really has a different feel than dailies. It's not the daily vibe. Because every day you want to do something different. It's not like these people on Instagram doing dailies and they all look exactly the same. This is building something and learning from it and doing something new that you would like to do. And that's, we've talked about before, is that when you want to do a certain type of work, if you don't have any work like that to show in the first place, nobody's going to come to you to do that kind of work.
Totally true.
And you can really
And you've
fall
got to
into a
show
hole
off the
quick.
work that you really want to do. If
Yeah.
you want to do character stuff, you got to fill your reel full of character stuff. If you want to do,
Right.
you know, architectural rendering, you got to fill it with architectural rendering.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it was really inspiring to see that. And, you know, I took a lot of notes as well. We, you know, walked around and talked a lot before and after. Phil and I did anyway, and talked about what we were inspired by. Went and, you know, got some cheeky Nando's and whatnot.
What are cheeky Nando's?
Oh, inside UK jokes.
The queen.
And we went out. We did some photogrammetry too. We're messing with
Yeah,
that.
that was really cool. So we went like to Trafalgar Square, like one of the big touristy sort of spots, and we both brought our cameras like one day, and then yeah, just thought we'd try out some photogrammetry
Did some
of
circles.
one of the lions underneath Nelson's column. That was quite cool because it's like it was really overcast as it is always here. So
Yeah.
it's like perfect lighting conditions, but the only thing is like with shiny objects.
Yeah.
Shiny. Yeah.
We couldn't get the top. We couldn't get the top of the lion's head
Yeah.
because it was
Yeah, I
it
know.
was too high up there, and both of us put this through a photogrammetry software, and it had a mohawk because it couldn't
Yeah.
figure out the top.
Funny.
So it just kind of fills in the vector points between the top of the lion and like the bounding box that you create for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it freaked out on some parts of it where it was like because it was shiny, and like the way the photogrammetry works, it's better with things that have like a lot of roughness or a lot of texture,
Yeah.
like works great on. But anything shiny, like it doesn't really work out well because obviously as you're moving around the object, the light's going to change and the reflections are going to change on that object. So it's trying to work that out on the fly, and it doesn't really it's not super smart, like trying to figure that out. Like I remember back when I worked where I used to work, we had a glass that we needed to model, and it was like a really specific glass, and it was like a weird shape. But what we wanted to do is do photogrammetry so we could get like, even if it was just for reference, like not actually using the model. So obviously because it was glass and it was see-through, like we couldn't just go around it and take a lot of photos. We had to first of all kind of paint the whole thing with like gray paint, like inside and out, and then like flick kind of paint at it so it wasn't just like one solid color. So like the camera could pick up all of those like distinctive points, like those paint splatters all the way around it, and it gave such a good model from doing that.
I like
And we
your-
tried
See, now I'm thinking you could take some photogrammetry of your face and then you retopologize it, right? And go through and do all the sculpting stuff.
See, that's the
You know?
that's the hard thing because you're literally moving all the time. Like you may not feel like you're moving, like if you try and stay really, really still, but you are actually moving all the time. And that's the thing in photogrammetry that like totally mucks up the model because it's counting on the fact that it's a static object and you're moving around it. So if the object's moving and you're moving at the same time, it's like taking a blurry photo. It's like that equivalent. So that's why they have those rigs where they'll have like you stand in the middle and there's like 180 cameras around you that all fire at once because they're capturing that 1 millisecond
right.
of time, and then they put all of those photos together.
Matt, what did you write in the chat? What did you can me? Is that?
Oh
is this a
man, that was
post
supposed
in-
to be what did you call me?
Is this a
He
Cinema
said
4D?
just spray it with Matt Gray.
I thought it was a Cinema
Yes,
4D
what did you call me?
Facebook question.
Yeah. So sorry. Sorry, I went dumb there for a second.
I liked the technique though that you were telling me about, Phil, where you go around it once and then you pull way back and you push in with the telephoto lens a little bit, and then you do it again because then the software, if there's a lot of stuff in the background, the software can easily distinguish between what's background and what's not background. That worked really well.
Yeah, it's really like worked really well, didn't it? And that's just kind of going off experience, like being on set and doing photogrammetry. Like I was really lucky, like I got to go on set with someone who now does like that TD sort of work for ILM. So like super smart guy called Dave Wortley, and like he showed me the ropes on all of that sort of stuff, like what not to do, like what to do to get the like kind of best captures you can.
You know, Sage says, "What software you used?" What were you using for yours?
I was using reality capture, but I haven't tried photo scan. I don't have photo scan. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try both. and just
Yeah.
kind of see what the difference is between the two. Not that I haven't done it before. Yeah, I know Sage said it on purpose. That was the joke. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
joke. Yeah,
You got it.
you got it. I got your joke. What software did you use? It's always a question. If I have that software, I'll be able to be exactly the same as you. Inspiration that we got, though, was besides Golden Wolf. Let's see. Oh, wait, before I get into the other speakers, you did the Happy Meal. The Rick and Morty Happy Meal. You kind of went and did a thing too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of like, like I was talking on the Monday meeting the other day where I just recommend to everyone to get something that you can kind of have a to-do list on like your phone or like your computer, and it kind of syncs together. Because I like getting inspiration from like whatever I see. So if I like, and I'm terrible, like I've got a good memory, but like if I think of something in that moment and then say to myself like, oh, I'm going to remember that, like I never do. And it's like,
I'm the same way.
There's so many ideas that have just gone like out of the window because of that reason. So I got this app called Wunderlist, and I've just literally listed all the things that come to mind. So like anything that I see, and then I think of an idea like off of that, I think, all right, I'll put it on Wunderlist, and it just it'll just sit there. So now I'm just like literally just kind of trying to pick at all of these things on my list, and that was one of them when because I watched Rick and Morty the other day, and like that was one of the episodes that I watched where he kind of gets taken back in time to when Szechuan sauce is like when Mulan came out, wasn't it, in the 90s or whatever it was.
I still have some Szechuan sauce when they re-released it.
Yeah,
there we go.
So I thought, that'd be cool to have a like, what if there was a Rick and Morty kind of Happy Meal?
This is what will come out when they really release the Szechuan sauce. The problem is it's not for kids. Parents will be upset.
Yeah. And
what is this Plumbus? Get a free Plumbus nightlight with your purchase of a Happy Meal. I've been putting stuff in a book. I thought maybe I should use this one too. Look, I got this cool Video Copilot notebook. Ooh,
oh yeah, swag.
Got a lot of swag, and I've been writing a lot of that down, just to like in books and stuff like this. Even though it's not digital, I'll go back, I guess, some of these and put them digitally. But yeah, I'm doing the same technique for stuff that I think of when I'm not in front of my computer. Because you always think of something like before you, like right when you're nodding off to sleep.
Yeah.
So,
and we were talking about that a lot as well, when like you don't want to have that thing where it's like, right, I feel like I have to make something, and then I sit at my computer, and then it's like, right, make something.
Stare blankly at the screen.
Go. Be creative. Like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I started drawing last night in bed while watching TV. Like, the wife and I, we always lay in bed and watch TV the last hour or two before we go to bed. And last night I was like, I really wanted to continue sculpting because I was sculpting this really stupid looking, character. And I was like, but I don't know. Anyway, so I was laying in bed with just like a pad of paper and a pencil and stuff and just drawing. It felt kind of nice, even though all my drawings were terrible, It's like it's neat to think about it in like a 2D sculpting kind of way, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't drawn in ages. I got a lot of art supplies for Christmas. Like my wife got me like a huge kind of like wooden case, like full of like oil pastels, oil paints, and acrylics and stuff. So I need to start doing that sort. I used to paint a lot when I was younger. I need to just start doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, my inspiration never comes to me in front of the computer, and I've just got to have a new way of working and just sit with a notepad and just sketch or write notes all over the place, and I got to change it up. And I think that's just my new way of doing it,
I saw a few Reddit posts where there were some really pretty things that people were doing with the iPad, and the pencil and stuff.
Yeah.
It almost convinced me to buy one, but then I remember they're like $1 million.
Oh man, I love
and they'll only last
mine.
a year.
Oh, I love mine.
I did have one, and I bought it for that reason. I was like, right, I need like I had an hour and a half commute there, hour and a half commute back, like on the tube, and I was like, right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start drawing and just like pass the time, like do that kind of daily thing where I'm just like sitting there doodle, and I started doing it, and then like the person sat next to me just starts like looking, and I'm just like,
Oh,
what
then
are
you're
you-
self-conscious,
what are you
right?
doing? Yeah, super self-conscious, and it literally happened every time that I got it out.
That's not a very British thing to do. You're
I
supposed
know.
to keep to yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, if someone talks on the tube, they just like
Uh-huh.
you have to leave. Yeah.
I read a tweet today that said, I heard a kid in the tube scream, "If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands," and no one clapped.
Oh my,
Oh, that's great.
that's so good. That does happen. It happened to Debbie. Like when what me and my wife like we went for a meal with Dave, and we like she was on the way back. She had to go back and pick up the kids, and on the way back, someone collapsed in front of her on the tube, and she obviously like went straight there and hell. Nobody around them batting an eyelid. Like
Jeez.
she hit the floor, nobody batting an eyelid, and she got up and like tended to her. It's like it's so crazy. And then like
move on.
eventually when she got to the station, and then someone else started helping, and it turns out like my wife's in the military and the other guy was in the military as well.
Right.
And it's like they're just that kind of person, I guess.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Procreate is an app that a lot of people are using on the iPad. By the way, I thought I'd mention, which I have a copy of. I like it. Thomas King, who works at Already Been Chewed, he's got that app, and he's been doing some really great stuff. Like
I have seen some really cool
looking
stuff.
stuff. And he's been doing that. He's been getting into sculpting and things as well, like ZBrush stuff. And his ZBrush
him and I were chatting about that the other day at Already Been Chewed.
At the thing.
Yeah.
The thing. Yeah. Look at this ZBrush sculpt that he did here.
What?
Yeah. It's pretty sick looking stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
I've been following his work because, man, that's
for those not looking, it's this giant like mask type thing.
I've got like such a respect for people who can sculpt in 3D. It's a hard thing to do because it's not that tactile feedback. That's actually why I kind of like Medium on Oculus better, because at least you're using your hands a little more. It feels more like you're using clay instead of just using a mouse and a keyboard. So
I've watched a few like speed things, sped up whatever of people sculpting in ZBrush, and it actually seems very different than Cinema. Like I've seen a lot of them using like the wax tool and stuff like that in order to like build up and like cut down and stuff like that. I don't know. It's interesting because I don't really use the wax tool. Like I find that it just doesn't work the way I want it to, but that's probably me doing it wrong.
I guess you could go with does Samsung their tablets have a good pencil?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I
don't really like
the Apple
Samsung
Pencil.
devices.
Oh yeah, the Apple Pencil is great.
Yeah, it's so great.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Samsung Galaxy Note 2014 edition is about 160 pounds. Man, that's a heavy tablet. Dang. All right, what else do we have here? I think you have to approach it differently. I was watching some stuff, and we'll talk about Simon here in a minute, too. I was watching some stuff on Simon's website, and he's talking about using different pieces of software in a way that fits your needs. We've talked about this before, but if you just sit in front of Cinema 4D, in an empty Cinema 4D, and not only are you not going to have any real inspiration, but it's like he said, if all you have is a hammer, then wait, what is it? Then everything's going to
then everything becomes a nail.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which is fine if that's all you can afford or whatever, but if there's other mediums, like you said, like drawing, just kind of approaching things differently, and like a lot of people talked about at MDC is finding things in real life rather than digital to start with. You know, they did the who was it that
So 23rd C, Nick Hill and Stylo. Is that what you're talking about?
Nick and Stylo. They did the paint thing for BBC, and they were talking about using other mediums and bringing it in. So you're kind of approaching things a different way, and not just like sitting down in front of a blank canvas on your computer. So
their whole kind of their whole thing. So they've just started a new company called 23rd C, and their kind of unique selling point is that they mix like real world things with digital things. And so what they were doing with those kind of idents is like BBC came to them and said, like, we really like this image, and they had an image of kind of like paint, but it was kind of like swirled paint, but it wasn't mixing. That was the thing. It was like really like slender kind of primary colored paint, and they like kind of got the job, and then it's like, right, how are we going to do this? So they started looking into it, and there's like different artists that they found that does this kind of style, and they started like messaging them. It's like, how do you stop the paint from mixing? When you like pour paint into a pot, like it'll mix all together and just create like a muddy kind of brown look. So they found this stuff called GAC 800, which you add to the paint. And I was like, straight away, I was like writing that down when he was saying that. I was like, oh wow, because it looks so good. As soon as they started doing that,
Stylo is pretty freaking hilarious, by the way. Like
he was.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, we have got to get this guy on the show.
Yeah,
he's like Napoleon Dynamite mixed with a graphic artist, mixed with a magician, mixed with a comedian. Like
that's funny.
I don't know how to describe him, but he was great. Yeah. I was like, I can't wait to talk to this guy.
It was so fun. And they were showing all these like pictures of them like on Nick's kitchen floor. He had all this like tarpaulin down and like pots of paint everywhere, and like they had a camera set up kind of like looking down and like pouring paint into this. But they didn't stop there. They didn't just film that and kind of like give it to the BBC. They took it like way further. Like they took those like image sequences into cinema, and they're using like the new kind of volumes and volume builder and like all the fields and things like that, just to kind of mix it all together. And it was so good. It looks amazing. Like
they were putting
super
those
organic
planes, like doing planes as bulls to do these cross sections through volume builders. Yeah. It was weird. Like
it was so cool.
Really cool. Like I feel like that needs to be something that Maxon showcases for sure. Yeah. Like the way that they described that, I was like, man, that is a crazy awesome use of fields. And
Nick Hill put out like a, you know, where they ask me questions sort of thing, like what tutorials would you like to see, and that was literally like the top one, where people are just asking how he did the BBC Two ident. So
always more than meets the eye. You know, like even with the paint.
You guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay.
He's got to go take a potty break.
Yeah. So
he's nodding yes.
It looks so good. Like that whole thing was just so fascinating to me. That the whole, because I feel like because I come from a kind of photography background, like I still have that kind of like what it looks like in real life is like the key thing, you know?
Right.
Like, and taking that and like that, I really like that whole thing just like totally resonated with me, and like it was really good to see that sort of stuff, rather than like, because I feel like when I was in my last job, like there was things where it was in like weeks in CG when it like we could just shoot that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like mixing paint, it's like that's quite difficult to do. Like
sometimes the simplest solution is the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes it is. Yeah.
Like the NASA pencil pen thing that you always hear about with the Russians.
Yeah.
Which actually isn't true, but
I still feel like as well, like when you have a client and they hear that it's CG, it's like they've got this like little thing in their head where it's just like, well, I can change that any way I want, and maybe like to me it looks wrong, but if you shot something, like they can't say that it looks wrong because it's real life, you know?
Right.
So like like whether a perspective is off, or like whether, you know, like the paint wouldn't do that in real life, or, you know, like something like that.
See, what's funny, if you shot it in real life and you gave it to the client and told them it was a render, they'd probably say something didn't look right about it.
Yeah. Looks fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love getting that comment. That's great.
Yeah. You know, you've heard the story of the NASA pen thing, right? Like, they needed a pen that would work in outer space because pens don't work in outer space. And so Russia's solution to that was just to use a pencil. But that's actually not true.
Right.
It's actually not true, because
Right.
they actually did need a pen, because the graphite, little chips of it could get into things and short things out. So if you ever hear that, you can be actually guy who goes, actually.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So, man, okay, we got so many notes on this. Let's see. Speaker, so we talked about Golden Wolf. Did we talk about Niels?
No, so he was first, and like his stuff was really, really cool, but it was very, I would say, kind of where he really concentrated on the lighting and the composition. Like that's where he started. Like, so most of his stuff was black and white, and it was kind of like bold shapes and shafts of light, and, you know, like really strong compositional stuff. And then he like built from that. He was more like I would say like a concept artist that then is kind of still doing, you know, kind of finished work as well.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff had kind of that, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. What's the vibe I'm looking for? What's the style I'm looking for? Maybe Ashthorpe-ish?
Yeah, I would say, like, it's very kind of up to the minute title sequence, like that kind of, you know, where things are slowly moving and like they're really close up, lots of detail, and then it will be like really strong lighting. So like where it's just like backlit, like mostly backlit sort of stuff. And yeah, it was just like really, really pretty things to look at. But a lot of it was black and white. It was very monochromatic, and like maybe one or two colors. Like a lot of his stuff didn't have a lot of color in it.
And who else? After lunch, who was after lunch?
So after lunch was Deanna Lawn. She works at NPC. So she, like, it sounds like she worked at NPC kind of like in a super small team of like maybe 2 or 3 people, and they kind of do like kind of the work that I want to start getting into. And it's like what I enjoy the most is like that pitch stage where a job comes in, don't have much time, and you're kind of putting all of this stuff together quite quickly to get style frames or like a small animation just to show that you're capable of doing the job, and you get the brief and like all of those sort of things. And like she just got to do super experimental like stuff like in X particles, and she was using like Arnold to render because they obviously NPC have got a huge like render farm. So I think their pipeline is all kind of Arnold pipeline anyway. So she was using Cinema 4D, but all of the stuff is just like, it's really like experimental, and like she's getting like lens flares, and like she's doing light trails, and like it's really, really, really cool stuff. And it was just great, really good.
And then Simon, how do you pronounce Simon's last name?
Simon Holmedal.
Holmedal. Okay.
Yeah.
So we actually got to speak after, but first of all, his presentation was hilarious.
It was so funny because he was just like, because the whole time he's just like, I've put too many slides. I can't believe it. I'm really sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. He's like,
and then he's like clicking through, and he's just like, oh my god! Like,
I think it's so funny because he's so good, and even his experiments, and he had so many slides in there, And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is crap. This whole thing is crap." And everybody's looking at these slides like, "Oh my god, this is so amazing."
Like, he's like, "I'm gonna skip. Do you want me to skip?" And everyone's like, "No."
Right. It's like, "No, don't skip. Like we're really enjoying this. I know we're quiet, but we're more in awe than anything." And he's just got his hands on his head. He's like, "Ah." And we're like, "No, this is great. Like I really like to see his breakdown." Hey, he's like, "Oh, this is boring. I'm just gonna." We're like, "No."
Yeah. It really isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was like all
like
Houdini.
imposter syndrome live or something.
Yeah,
right,
it was literally that. Right. Yeah, it was imposter syndrome live. Yeah. But he used to be like solely cinema, and then he started using Houdini. But the interesting thing is he was at work and he used to get into work 2 hours early, just so he could learn Houdini, and then started to realize that like, oh, I could actually like make a system in Houdini to do this job like that I was going to do in cinema, and it's helping me out. And like, so he started using that to his advantage so he showed a title sequence that he did, and it literally had these like, it almost looked like
they were fractals,
like fractal ferrous kind of like weird rocks that were just like ever like unfolding forever. Like literally it was like 3 minutes. Like the camera did not move, and it was so detailed and like billions.
It was mesmerizing, though.
It was like so interesting, like how he did that, and like how he like did the system to make those where they're like kind of scaling up and rolling around and kind of coming into shot and going away, and it was like a constant, like permanent wave of like stuff coming at you.
What was interesting, a lot of this stuff we didn't find out until after the fact, because you and I were talking to him at the pub afterwards, and so it was really cool to hear a little bit more about this. And I want to say that the things we're talking about are probably all in his Instagram. And
for sure.
His Instagram is just ridiculous, but it was interesting to hear the way that he used Cinema 4D before he got into Houdini. I think one of his videos on his website talks about using Cinema 4D and Houdini to complement each other. And with Houdini, the way he went about, I was like, okay, how do you, just for a noob, how do you go about learning Houdini? Because everybody's scared of it, you know? And everybody's like, I don't know where to start. And he's like, well, rather than just going to do tutorials, if you find something that you need to attack, like find something easy, even in like motion graphics and Cinema 4D, something you would do on a regular basis, and just sit down with Houdini and trying to figure out how to do that. Even if it's something simple like a cloner object or whatever, right? And he spent those 2 hours coming in early, and he'd start working on it, and he might not get done. And he said, I would sit there during the day working in Cinema 4D, working in my job, thinking about it in the back of my head. How am I going to come back and approach this after work? And then after work, he'd go back to it. He hit me up this morning, actually. He emailed me, and so we were talking a little bit, and so I think he's going to come on the show at some point.
Oh, nice.
As well.
Oh, that's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. A couple people already mentioned in the chat, too, that he uses Linux. And it was interesting I think he was specifically talking about Redshift, if I'm not mistaken, that he had some sort of crazy difference between rendering something on Windows in Redshift and rendering it on Linux in Redshift. It was like twice as fast, or maybe not, don't quote me on that, but it was something insane where running all this stuff on Linux is the way to go. I just found that really interesting. So
yeah, any kind of studio that's like big enough, like run everything, like so the guy Dave that I was mentioned before that I used to go on the shoots on, who works at ILM now, so literally the whole company is Linux, and he is the Windows guy. Like, so anything to do with Windows, like, it goes to him, and like everything else goes through Linux.
Yeah,
Liam says,
Liam.
Liam's saying Linux is 4 times faster for Redshift because Windows interferes with the drivers.
I mean, it makes sense.
Huh. That's really interesting.
It's the overhead. It's the OS overhead. That makes sense, really. Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go,
Yeah, 'cause
Dave. Let's build a Linux machine. Put all of our GPUs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because it feels like Windows, like you kind of have this window up front, and then it has every version of Windows ever. The deeper you go, like the weird icons, like even when you're
Yeah.
installing a program, it feels like it's
Mhm.
from 1998.
Yeah. Everything's
You know?
band-aided.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
literally is that. It's just built on top, built on top, built on top, and they're just putting out fires constantly as new stuff comes out.
Yeah. Of course, we got to talk about Andrew Kramer.
Oh yeah,
So he was last to present.
The Andrew Kramer.
The Andrew Kramer. Now, first of all, his presentation was really great. But then he throws out this kind of bombshell at the end about this new plugin that he's working on. And it was kind of crazy to be there because a lot of people started posting about it. And everybody's like, what? What's going on? What is this? And the internet was kind of, it was a Saturday. This is the only thing. So
Yeah.
you didn't get as much buzz, but it was kind of fun to be there for kind of this reveal. And he showed off this new, what would you call it?
It was
It's
like
called Nebulous, right?
Nebula 3D.
Nebula 3D.
And it's, imagine like how fast volume rendering is in Redshift, and then times that by 8.
Like
And
near real time.
Jeez.
Near real time in After Effects, and it's animated
3D.
VDBs.
3D volumetrics, God
like-
rays, fog.
You can add like mats to VDBs, like any kind of mats, like so you can have the light reacting through. He used a radio target thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like going through it, and then he had
It's
the
like
VDB.
a bull. It's a bull, essentially.
It's a ball, yeah. It's a ball on your VDB, and then he had a volumetric light, and it had it all interacting together, and there was literally no lag.
Yeah,
Wow.
he could just rotate around it, take a look at it,
Yeah.
no big deal. And
He
it
was adding, like-
insane.
Oh man, it was insane. He
Oh,
was
he-
adding fog to shots, like
Yeah.
live, so like just adding like that depth, like
You
that
use a Z
nice.
depth pass if you want.
Yeah, man, it was so
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it like the whole thing runs on a so his guys have been redesigning the UI, so like all of the stuff is going to be like updated, so you know all the other plugins with a new UI, and it uses a node system, so you can plug like lights in, like which lights are going to affect which
After
things you've
Effects
seen.
light nodes, it's insane.
It's so, man, it was so impressive. Like literally everyone in was getting their phone out and taking a picture of it or filming it, or just like you just heard the gasps. Like,
Yeah,
like,
because
think-
these people are very, very like there were a lot of advanced artists in the audience, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and for it to be an After Effects plugin, you know, everybody's first reaction is like, meh. But in the room we were in with these artists, when he showed it off, people were like, they didn't know what to think. They were silent. They were like, whoa, like
Yeah.
what? How is this happening right now?
and even when I put it on my Instagram story, and I literally got like 10 people like, what is it? What is it? Oh my god. Yeah.
And
How are
'cause
they again?
You can do things like control the scatter and throw colors based on the density information.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane what he's doing there. I don't know what his secret sauce is, but
Yeah, you can add like point lights inside the VDBs, and it reacts how it should as
right
well.
to the
Like-
distribution, like the scattering and all of that, and
and it's for free as well. It's literally real time. There's no noise or like it's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
it works with Element 3D objects as well. You could put the 3D
Yeah.
objects in, you know, for real fog and things like that. And I feel like he should be in charge of After Effects in general,
Right?
Yeah.
you know, or come out with his own version of After Effects. But it's going to be on
Safe
Mac
side.
and PC. We asked him that ahead of time because we weren't sure, because you know the GPU stuff. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes it's like only
Yeah.
NVIDIA or, you know.
Yeah, it's all GPU accelerated. And
Yeah.
we asked him afterwards, like whether that node system will be part of the other plugins as well. And he was kind of like not ready to say, but
Right.
you kind of know why. Like that
Yeah.
maybe he's got something else like in the pipeline or
Sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sleeve.
Orb 2.0.
Yeah. I had myself some good scotch, by the way, over there, because there are better prices on scotch over there. And
Is that true?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially Talisker. I got the limited edition.
We have
Game
Ireland
of
and
Thrones.
Scotland where it pretty much comes from.
Right. Yeah, so I got the Game of Thrones Talisker bottle of scotch for like $33 or something insane. You know, it's just a regular bottle here in the States is $75. So that,
Wow.
and I did a tasting too of a, what year, was it a 30-year scotch? A 30-year Talisker? And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a shot of it usually in the States of I think it was a 30, or maybe it was 40. But
I think it was 40.
I think it was
yeah.
a 40. You're right.
I think it was 40.
Jeez.
Yes.
It was a 40-year-old. I've never had a 40-year-old scotch. That's what it was. It was a 40-year-old scotch. One glass in the States is $150.
Holy cow.
And I want to say it was like 40, 50 bucks. And
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like,
50,
I
yeah.
definitely want to try this. You know, and it was just amazing. And Talisker is one of my favorites anyway. So, yeah, just putting that out there in case anyone wants to send me a bottle, you know.
This week's episode brought to you by Talisker Whiskey.
And we had a great meetup too. Okay, who came to the meetup? So it was us, and we had Andy
Gav
Needham,
Grant.
Gav Grant,
Pedro,
Claudio.
Claudio. Yeah.
Anybody else? There were some other people that came to the restaurant that I didn't get to talk to, and I didn't know if they were friends of people or.
Yeah.
But we had a really fun meetup, so
Yeah, it was cool.
it was great the way it worked because we were on the Slack and kind of talking through the day. We had kind of a meetup channel going, a private meetup channel. And as the day went on, we kept adding people to our crew before the meetup. You know, we go drink at one place and then go somewhere else and people would join. And by the time we got to the end, we had this whole crew. So that was a lot of fun.
That's
And
cool.
I think some of those guys may be making it to NAB this year. So
Yeah, I think Claudio is going to NAB. Yeah,
let's
so
see.
that should be fun.
And
I'm not going this year.
I know,
I can't go.
man.
I can't go this
I
year.
know.
Ooh, I'm so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just bring your kids. Take them out of
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a nice place to take kids, isn't it?
Yeah, you can go to the M&M store. That's about it.
Yeah,
We went
that's
to the
No,
it.
take 'em to the
store.
Sharks.
We went to the Lego store.
Take them to the
Just-
Sharks at Mandalay Bay. That's always fun.
Yeah.
We went to
Just
the
cover your
London
eyes
one.
and ears on the way to stuff, like in Las Vegas. That's
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
you gotta do.
If someone's handing you a card, it's not.
Yeah.
Just don't grab it.
Yeah. Trash? Free trash? Would you like some free trash, sir?
Oh, by the way, this year I'm calling it again. After or during or wherever during the big meetup that they do on Sunday night, we're gonna go ride the New York again,
Yeah.
like we did
Oh, nice.
last year.
Mhm.
So yeah, anyone interested in that, let us know.
Pedro's business card. I have that.
Oh yeah.
Pedro's business card. I don't think I have it on me. I don't think it's in my wallet right now. But Pedro's business card had this luminescent. No, what would you call it?
No, it was iridescent.
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 Finish.
Yeah.
And it was so
Yeah.
great. And it's one of those things where like not a lot of people do business cards anymore, or they do, but like you just don't pass them out like you used to. And so he put some of them after he showed us. He put some of them in the bathroom, and because it had that finish on it, everybody in the bathroom was like looking at his card because it was so unique. And we were
That's
sitting
funny.
like talking about cards and stuff, and I'm like, this is like American Psycho right now.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, like checking out the different fonts and types of paper and finishes, and that was really cool. I don't know where he got it. I don't remember. I think he's in the chat right now. Maybe he can tell us.
Oh my gosh, is that a watermark?
Yeah. Also, I talked to Haley a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we caught
That
up a
was
little
nice.
bit. She still needs to come on the show. We had her scheduled, and I think she got sick or something, and so we had
Yeah.
to postpone. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get her back on the show here pretty soon.
Yeah, because
And-
I did a testimonial for her contracts,
Mm-hmm.
so it was nice to actually finally meet her like face to face.
Mhm.
It's nice.
Okay, we got to talk about a sensitive topic.
Oh boy.
A little bit. All right.
20% gate.
20% gate. And I have to preface this by saying we are going to report on it and we're going to talk about it. And so let's keep the bashing to a minimum. Mitch is our friend.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people on the internet have been getting him a hard time, but we're going to report on this just a little bit just to talk about it and get people's opinions.
It's a very small industry.
Let's have an adult
any
conversation
type of news, let's talk about.
Let's have an adult conversation about it. So, Matt, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Sure. Okay. So, Mitch Myers put up on Twitter the other day that he was looking for people to like work with. So basically it's like, hey, if I don't have enough work, if I've got too much work, if I'm overloaded or whatever, or if we want to collaborate on a project, hit me up. Everyone in the chat. That's so, that's cool and all. It's great to build a whole list of people that you can count on and blah, 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 and know their work and stuff. I mean, that's what we're doing. That's one reason why I really enjoy our Slack so much is that there's a ton of people on there. And I know everyone's strengths. And if I need someone, it's great to be able to call on them. Now, here's the thing. He said, go sign up for my short list, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I want to be totally, open and transparent, so I'm going to take 20% of the total cost of the project, and all the client work will be through me. And that threw a bunch of people. So, and which I can now I see it from both ways. Because
how is it any different than like, I think Ariev has thrown us a gig before and we've been like, well, make sure you take a little off the top.
Yeah, exactly. We I brought and this was early in our relationship, our friendship or whatever. I said, hey, we'll just drop down our day rate just a little bit so that you can, take a small cut. But that was also on our side. We straight up offered that.
Yeah, see, that's the interesting thing. It's like, I think everybody assumes, and everyone does that when you get a job. It's kind of like, and it's from a friend, and you're like, you kind of hold back a little bit on maybe your day rate. So, and that you're gonna obviously they're gonna ask you your day rate, and they're gonna mark it up when they go back to their client. That is literally how you make money. But yes. I think the fact that he was so upfront that I am going to take 20% off you, he didn't have to say that. He didn't he could have just added 20% on.
Yeah.
Here's
the thing.
Right. That makes sense.
Here's the thing. And this is okay. So I understand that some of us may do this, where it's like, okay, we're going to run art director. We're going to do the work. We're going to deal with the client stuff, and we're going to outsource it to one of our friends. Right.
Especially
and then we're going to take a small
little
bit
as a
off
company.
The top. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the big difference here, in my opinion, is that Mitch doesn't necessarily, in this particular case, Mitch doesn't show himself as he's showing himself as he is Mitch Myers,
Okay.
He is himself. He is a freelancer. He is whatever, Now, if you're portraying yourself as a company and saying, that's a totally different thing, because you can understand that a company as itself, has to make that extra money for its overheads and stuff like that versus a single freelancer and stuff like that. I know that's weird because, yes, we are all running our own company as our freelancers and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's kind of different, Yeah. I don't know.
I think he had very good intentions, and it's just come across very a lot of people.
The internet.
Yeah.
The internet.
Exactly.
Pitchforks come out.
Ryan
Summers was saying a whole bunch of stuff against it, and then Mitch responded, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, everybody had some good points and stuff like that, but really, and I guarantee you, he got a whole short list of people because there are a lot of people who would be like, heck yeah, I'll totally work for you. Take 20%. That's totally fine. You know, that's no big deal. You know, some people are okay with that, and some people aren't. And if you aren't, feel free to say so.
Let
if
me
you
ask
are,
you
then
this,
it doesn't matter.
Let me ask you about this. Is a lot of times either if you're throwing something to a friend, or they're throwing something to you, the client knows that it's being handled that way. Do you think that's part of it? Do you think he's presenting it as, oh, the client's never going to know this isn't me?
See, and that's the problem. Like, yeah, he was trying to be transparent, but he wasn't transparent enough in letting us know exactly how that was going to be handled. You know, so it's like, here, let me be transparent, but also let me be incredibly vague. That, you know, so
because then the question comes up rough. Too, like a lot of times you collaborate with a friend on something like that, and then you put it out there, and you're able to say it was yours. Are you not able to say this is? Are you not able to put it on your website? Is that part of his stipulation?
I have no idea.
Noseman said if you state your requirements beforehand, there's nothing unethical about it.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I think it's just like a total case of like misunderstanding. Like, I feel like Mitch is not necessarily as part of like the community as he kind of makes out. Like, you know, he's not kind of actively commenting on things and like being in the chats and like, you know, live feeds and things like this, where you see the normal people that are like chiming in on these things, like they are in there and they are talking about it. And I think it only would have took like him kind of putting it out there, like, listen, I'm thinking about doing this, guys, what do you think? Like beforehand, that would have saved all of this. You know?
And I have actually talked about that, and I don't know if I've talked about it on the show or just randomly, like with Matt and, you know, I don't know, David or something. I'm like, I miss Mitch. I miss Coolfire. Yeah. Like, he's a friend of ours, and like he's just not around. I'm like, I miss the guy. Like, he's not in the chats. He's not in any. I just don't see him. You know, like he kind of showed up, and we're like, hey, and then he's just not around. And I know he's probably busy with other things as well. But Chad Ashley says if anyone had a problem with what Mitch said, they should have taken it up with him in private and be an adult.
Yeah,
and see, that's the thing. Like, the pitchforks come out, and it sucks when you're on the other end.
It really sucks when you're on the other end of the pitchforks. As someone who has been on the other end of the pitchforks many titimes, I can tell you it sucks.
And I tried not to get involved in those sort of rants. You know, like, because like all of my handles are my company, so I don't really want to. I don't like it, you're just kind of like you're adding fuel to the fire, and you're also like whatever you say on Twitter is kind of there forever, isn't it? So
right.
So I didn't really like have a massive problem with it like some of the other people, but I understand why they did, but I also understand like where Mitch is coming from in terms of like what, like, he's an entrepreneurial sort of person where like him and his wife have a couple of businesses. He has his own business, and he's like he is just trying to like make extra money. But
Liam said fuel to the cool fire. No, Mark Cernosa said it right in the chat. He said it came across as shady because A, he opened it to anyone, and B, there was a lot of gray area in the details.
Yeah,
that's totally right. That's totally right.
Yeah, but also, like Noseman says, like, most studios and agencies are making 1,000% markup for their artists' work.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
those are studios, but those are labeled studios, and you know stuff like that.
Well, but
like,
how does that matter? Why does it matter?
Well, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because we do this all the time. You know, we pass off work to each other in this industry as freelancers every day.
Yeah.
But like, how many times have you gotten a job and you said, I'm going to pass that to my studio friend, or like my friend's studio, you know?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Dave, have we ever had someone come up to us and like the project just seemed too big or something like that, and we said, wow, you really need to go to Already Been Chewed? You know, that doesn't necessarily happen. You know, but Already Been Chewed, Barton's hit me up before and said, hey, here's a client. we can't handle their stuff, you know.
Well,
Maybe
no,
you bid
not
it
that
out.
we can't handle their stuff. Already been Chu can
no, it's
definitely
just-
handle that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
this
It's
is
not-
this
Yeah.
isn't really the gig for us, and we're working on like 10 gigantic projects right now. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, at that point, him and I totally had an understanding that he would take a cut because
Yeah.
he was a studio. He was a
Mhm.
studio who was passing on a major, big amount of work to us if we ultimately got the job, which we didn't. But still, you know, that was understood.
Yeah,
So-
clients come to you because they know and trust you. So if they find out that you're like sending it to some rando who
Mhm.
you've met on the internet, like
Right.
Yeah,
that's
is that
not really
there's a
going to
difference.
ensue. Yeah, that's not going to ensue confidence in the client. It's like,
Yeah. Plus, you know, vetting people is really hard.
yeah,
You know,
it is, yeah.
vetting people is
sure.
very hard because you never know how they work.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you can see people's work online, and the way they work may not necessarily be as good as their work. You know,
Yeah,
it's the thing that a lot of us were talking about at SIGGRAPH last year during our little, you know, barroom conversations. It's that the Instagram people who are just like throwing out stuff on Instagram, they don't necessarily know how to work in a studio environment or something like that, you know? So like that puts a lot of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I were in Mitch's hands, like that would be hard for me because
Mhm.
you've not only got to, you could see their work, but you've got to vet them and see if they would be a right fit for the thing.
Yeah.
And that would almost be, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that's the 20% right there.
Well, we
you
know if we work
I
with
don't know.
Phil or if we work with EJ or if we work with David Ariev, what the results are going to be.
Right.
If somebody
right.
just put their name on a list, I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
tough.
so
I know
so
people.
that's-
I know
Like,
people
he's-
who produce really good work, but are not good in a studio environment.
Mhm.
You know.
Absolutely.
like he's just I feel like he's just skipped a whole like mountain of things that he needs to go through, you know, like that whole vetting system. It's like, right, I've got this job, I've seen this guy's work, let's work together, like produce the project.
Mhm.
And then that guy's like, right, he was really good at this job, like he was really nice, really like did a lot of communication like during the job, like he's on the
Yes.
list, you know.
Yes.
Right.
And he felt like he's just crowdsourced like past all of that sort
So
of
maybe
stuff.
this isn't about
Right.
the markup. Maybe it's about
Oh yeah, I
the
think the
natural
markup is
progression of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
organically having a short list as opposed to asking for a short list. And I think a lot of that has to do with being interactive in the community.
yeah. I literally
I
have
think
no
it-
problem with the
yeah.
with the markup. Like if you're not marking up, like if you're having freelancers working for you and you're not marking up, then like that's bad business basically, because that's how you make money on things. You get people to work for you that can do a task or a job like
Mhm.
as quick or quicker than you can or to a better standard,
Mhm.
and then
Or
you
the same standard.
yeah, or the same standard, and then you and like obviously charge the client your day rate,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well,
So
we
you're
won't-
like,
yeah,
you know,
we won't beat it to death too much.
yeah.
I just thought it was worth bringing up, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
we love
yeah,
Mitch Myers.
we do.
We do.
Fire! We just want to see him more often.
Yeah,
We miss his
Yeah.
mustache too.
Yeah.
Be in the
Oh
community.
man, Mark just brought up a really good point. He said,
Mhm.
to be honest, a great way to vet people is to go to industry events like Half Res, NAB, etc. An artist could have an amazing work, but could be a total jerk to work
Yeah.
with. And he didn't say jerk. He said
yeah.
He said something else. You can read it.
He spelt it out.
yeah, he
capital
knew it
letters.
wuld show up on.
Yeah.
he could be a total eggplant emoji to work with.
There you go. That works.
There we
That
go,
works.
yeah.
Oh man, this is a long show. We got a lot more to talk about. Let's go to some links. It's only been 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we do have another, maybe another hour left. See, I think I called it the 3-hour show. Links. I said I think I called it on the 3-hour show.
Never gonna get my puppy, am I?
Sure you will. All right. Link number 1, how to fix corrupt Cinema 4D files. There's nothing
Didn't we?
worse.
We talked about this, didn't
Did
we?
we? Oh, this
I'm pretty
is,
sure we
this
did.
is from the Slack. Tokyo Megaplex is looking for this, and Christoph sent this link. And
Yeah, basically you copy and paste, like you take a good file and you take a bad file and you copy like the last little bit in the good file into the bad file, and then it works.
It doesn't really happen that often, but it's happened to me like maybe once or twice. But
I mean, I've got the number one thing when you install Cinema, set up your autosave and set it to go every 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
The most you lose is 5 minutes worth of work.
That's literally the first thing to do.
Because it's not actually, I don't think, a Cinema 4D issue. It's like a file system issue. You know, your file system screws up when it's saving and it doesn't write something correctly. Then all of a sudden all your work's gone. But that's why increment saving's good. That's why auto saving's good. That's why having Dropbox history is good. Because even if you are auto saving or increment saving, if you're increment saving or just saving in general to Dropbox, even if you didn't increment save, you could go back to history on Dropbox and say, oh, give me the one from 5 minutes ago.
Now, here is a problem with that. If you're working on a really, really big file,
it's huge.
It
doesn't
really,
sync
really
by the
big
time
file.
you
it
save
won't
again.
sync by the time. Yeah. So then you have to go back a little bit of a way.
Yeah, that
you could lose a whole day.
Like a dangerous way to live.
And Noseman says no autosave. Why no autosave?
He's joking. He's gotta be joking.
He just likes to live on the edge. Now, I don't like how you use autosave.
That all my projects are just autosave.
You just start all your files and never save.
Yeah, I do both. I autosave and I save. Like,
the first thing I do when I open Cinema is I do file save before I do anything.
Oh yeah.
I just like getting into it though. Like I like doing the work. You know, I don't like dealing with the. I mean, autosave is fine.
Well, you must like doing the work because you do it twice.
No, that's not true.
Sometimes.
Because it still auto saves my untitled 06 version.
Right.
You know,
final.
I just have to bring it in there, right? No, I don't do final anymore. No.
Anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are for the rendered files. Come on, dude.
Noseman manual increment save. Yeah, totally. I do that all the time.
Oh yeah, I do both. Save. I do both.
And it's usually
I do both.
It's
if
usually
I know I'm
before
going
and
to
after.
I will do an increment save if I know I'm royally going to change something with my scene.
That's exactly that's what I was going to say.
I want to go like I don't increment save every single time. That would be ridiculous. But I do have my autosaves going on. I increment save when I know I'm like, okay, I'm going to try something and this may F up everything, you know?
And
that's when I increment save.
The way to do it is to save first before you increment save.
Yeah, I've messed myself up a few times not doing that.
Because if you don't do that, then you have that version, but you don't have the version from right then. You have it from say 10-15 minutes ago. You got to save then increment save.
Right.
Life hacks.
Hey, so there was this just came up on the Octane Slack channel in our Slack.
Yeah.
Apparently the NVIDIA drivers
breaking news
418.81 will break Octane.
I said that earlier.
So don't. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Was I eating food and not paying attention?
Probably.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, well, that was in our Windows Update suck segment, which is
that was like
45
minutes of the show, Matt. Where
sorry.
have you been?
Well, I'm sorry. You guys have just been talking about things that I weren't a part of for like an hour and a half.
With things you had FOMO on.
London.
Oh dear.
London jokes. Some other links we got
Let's
here.
Go get ourselves some bangers.
Let's put another shrimp on the bobby. Wait.
No. Cut.
Get ourselves some tea and crumpets.
I'll go to the loo.
Get on the lift. Take our car with the bonnet.
Watch out for the lorry.
I did when I was in college. So we had to create these like stupid edited videos. We had to basically show that we were shooting, you know. And so I redid the scene from Pulp Fiction where he's saying, you know, in England it's not called a quarter pounder, it's called. And then I would have one of my friends
France,
pop up.
Right?
No, whatever. I don't know. I have one of my friends pop up in the back. Anytime they'd say something, he goes, in London, we actually call rocks shiny pebbles. Or just some random...
Just fake things, just coming up with...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he'd pop back down, and then they'd continue the whole thing. It was really funny.
Let's go eat some cheeky Nando's.
I love the Dick Van Dyke style.
Yeah.
Oi, Mary
Poppins.
It's a lovely all the day with Mary. Oh. Anyway, other links I got here inside. This is CNN. Inside the Pentagon's race against deepfake videos.
Hey. Oh, that's funny. Jules is on the chat. He said, yep, change in 1418 driver is breaking octane. They're working on a fix ASAP.
Dude,
Sweet.
I love that everybody shows up for this. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. Then we got...
What does that mean? What's 6 bong?
The Motion Plus Design Los Angeles 2019. This is in end of February. Barton sent us a link to this. He's like, y'all got to go. I think Beeple's going to be there. Check that out. I would love to go, but honestly, there's just too much going on right now. Got to get some work done.
Yeah,
Right.
I've been to one of those meetups when I was doing some work in LA, and it's amazing. We had Tim Clapham was there just before SIGGRAPH and did his whole like fields and volumes and all of that presentation beforehand. So at least I got to see
Jules
that.
says he'll be there speaking.
Oh,
There you
nice. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Now I really want to go. Is there a cheap Southwest ticket? I'll just go for a day.
I think there is, actually. I
Jules,
just saw a fly to
Beeple,
LA.
Jules, Beeple, Barton will be there hanging out. Man,
6 bongers have been... Okay, 6 o'clock. Okay, that's funny.
6 bongers of Big Ben? Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
If only Big Ben worked. I was upset I didn't get to see Big Ben. I won't be able to for like 10 years.
Book now.
Oh, look.
Yeah, $99.
Phil's muted again.
Phil, are you muted?
I am, yeah.
There you go.
I'm trying to mute every time I cough, but
Right.
keep forgetting.
Now, there is a slew of links, Phil, that you sent me that I'm just going to go through real quick. If there's anything in particular.
What day is
Super.
that? Is that thing again, Dave?
I don't remember. You'll have to look it up. Motion Plus Design, Los Angeles 2019. I want to say it's the last week of February. February 31st.
February. All right, now I'm going to look it up because I know there's no February.
And Chad Ashley's going to be there. Oh, man, you guys. You're making me spend money.
Guys. Okay.
Man.
Here we go.
Okay, can we go for
Andrew
a day?
Kramer, people.
Andrew Kramer, too.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Woo! Tickets are $75.
That's
Jesus is going to be there.
Jesus.
Oh, I
it's
bet Octane Jesus
February
will be there.
23rd. All right, February 23rd. $73 one way to fly.
Well, I'm
What?
pretty sure we need to come back, so.
Right. Okay.
Southwest? Oh, that's...
Steal.
Oh, gosh. Okay, we might be going. Dang it. Oh,
right.
all right. Okay. All right, let's blow through these links so we can get to some people's people and get out of here within the 3
Phil's
hour mark.
links. Phil's links.
Yeah, there you go. The terraindomain.com.
Yeah, so after we were doing the photogrammetry stuff, I found this website, which they've basically, I don't know if they've used drones or whatever, and they've gone out to like places in the States and kind of like taken photogrammetry of, like the Trona Pinnacles and like things like that, where they're like really quite famous like rock faces and things like that. And they've done that process where they've done photogrammetry. You get like a high res mesh, like sort of what you were saying about before, Matt, where you take like a low res mesh and then have high res displacement on top. And they're pretty cheap. They're like less than $100, but they're like super high detail, like 16K maps and stuff like that. So any kind of terrain that you need, and if it needs to be real life, then that's the website to go to. Kitbash 3D have got a couple of new packs out, supercars and drones.
Ooh.
They're pretty cool, and they're all modular as well. So you can take the body off one, take the wheels off another, etc., and just like mix and match. I thought was pretty cool. Cavalry, which is like an After Effects.
Yeah.
Yeah,
After
we talked about
Effects
this
kind of.
last week.
Yeah. It's really cool.
$200, Dave, round trip.
Man. For both
Come back
of us?
Monday. No, each.
Okay, we'll talk about it after the show.
All right.
Grayscale Gorilla also hiring people.
Yeah.
They've got a few jobs on their job board. grayscalegorilla.com/jobs.
Netflix is doing that too. The Netflix jobs, there's a bunch of animation jobs that they just posted if you're in LA.
Yeah.
What else you got?
On aescripts.com as well, Caitlin Kaju has got like a series like with Adobe, I think it is. And it's like, man, just watching the first one, there's so many like little kind of tips and tricks and like plugins that she uses, and there's definitely like 3 or 4 plugins I've already downloaded because she's shown them in this this video, and they're super handy. And that's
She's going to be
really
on next week, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, she is? Good.
That's like, what?
Exciting.
Yeah.
And then I've got a few from the Slack as well that I just grabbed from the week. Red Giant Universe 3 got released. Introduces the new Universe dashboard for browsing and applying effects.
It's a bit more expensive now too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, I think it's gone up to
There's
like
5 brand
$199
new
or something.
5 brand new text generation tools and presets for every plugin. And then
Ace 5 Studios. I had this in my notes for next week, but yeah.
Getting started. So Alexei Vozineski from Ace 5 Studios.
I love him.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you about this. So I have been watching a lot of his stuff lately because of all the rigging and everything.
Yeah,
and
he is
the
like
other night,
the master of
yeah,
of that
the
stuff.
other night, do you ever get sick? And so like you toss and turn all night and you have these really weird dreams?
Yes.
I had one of those all with his tutorials where I'm like trying to rig up a character and reweight a character correctly. And I'm just like freaking out and can't get it done. That was all night.
Oh,
So-
that's the worst.
Yep.
I hate that. Oh gosh, I hate those dreams.
Uh-huh.
It's like you get those when you're high temperature or like you're gonna get sick, where you just have this like
fever dream
over and
and
over
it's not
over.
like it's a long, like drawn out nightmare. It's like you're trying to do one simple thing for like 5 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the most
Just
annoying
over and over
thing.
and over again.
Yeah,
It's awful.
man.
Yeah.
What else?
C4D Cafe has made all of their training and stuff for free, which is pretty cool. Some of it might be a bit outdated, but I'm not too sure. This got shared on the Slack from Mark, I think. MountMograph.com Boombox, and it's like basically just a whole, for $50 you get a lifetime license, and it's just like 600 sound effects that you can just add into whatever you're working on, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
Quite a cool little thing just for $50. I've got a YouTube link that I can't remember what it is for. That's it. It's Fabio Ciliberti, and he's done a kind of tutorial, and he's made some LUTs specifically for Octane. So he shows you like an interior render where it's kind of like a sofa, like a corner sofa, and he kind of shows like this is what you can get in Octane using like exposure and gamma and things like that, and getting the contrast. And then he shows you like with a LUT and like how close you can get like to a finished render, like just from using those LUTs on a percentage or like a full LUT, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I've
and
done
like just
that. You're talking about like blending with the original and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the
like
camera imager you can add LUTs in now, which I thought was really cool. And he just goes over that whole process and like the looks that he's done, and then he's just giving the LUTs away for free in the comments, which is pretty cool.
Dude, this boombox thing on Mount Mograph is super cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
Liam says the guys from Workbench will be joining the Monday meeting this coming Monday.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Sweet.
Putting that out there.
And someone posted this, which I thought was really cool because like I am totally like one who does this, where I'll get a model and it'll just end up in a folder and I'll never be able to find it ever again, and I forget that it's there. And basically, this designconnected.com is an asset manager. So, and it has a C4D plugin and all of this sort of stuff. So you can create thumbnails of all of your like models and things like that. Obviously, there's a little bit of like, well, quite a lot of work if you have a lot of models to kind of get into that process. But obviously, once you get into that process and start like documenting all that stuff, it's so easy to then like add keywords and have it all searchable and all that sort of stuff, which I thought was really good.
The best I've been able to do with that is in my projects in the C4D folder. I'll put my raw models in a folder called models. So at least if I search for models, I'll find them. But man, it's such a hard thing to do. Like, you know, Matt's talked about this before, how many times you go to Polygon and download this same exact texture.
Yep.
Like the 20
I finally created a folder called Polygon Textures. Yeah. You know,
but it fills up hard drives so quick as well. Like doing that stuff, like
Dropbox, baby.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Dropbox business.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Is that it for your links?
Yeah.
All right.
That's all the links I give in. Yeah.
Now, before we go, it's the Little Beeple's people.
Do we have to?
Let me get my Beeple viewer of choice.
Viewer of choice. I'm going to bring up my Beeple viewer choice. We're going to go to January 29th, year of our Lord 2019. I usually have my Beeple viewer of choice pulled up beforehand, but I don't today.
Me neither. Do you use Twitter?
I use Twitter. That's my Beeple viewer of choice.
Cool.
So
my Beeple viewer of choice is whatever Dave puts on the screen.
Right. All right. Do I have this right? I swear this. Okay, I looked at this the other day. The date's changed. All right,
Chad, you're right. Chad, you're right.
What did Chad say?
He said, "Make a junk folder in the content browser." That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is actually it's January 30th from what this says. That's really weird because it's not what I put in yesterday.
It says 29th on Twitter.
That's wait. Well, why does this say Look, it says 30th right here on Twitter.
Weird. It says 29th on mine.
That's so weird.
That's because it was on the 29th in your world.
But it was 29th yesterday.
Ooh.
When I wrote, I don't know. Anyway, We Were Giants is the one that we're looking for. And I thought this is a good one to bring up because we talk about the big people's people and the little people's people, which we figured out last week that the little people's people are human-sized.
Yeah.
Because of the giant fetuses.
Yeah.
In the Amazon Fulfillment Center. You know, normal stuff like that. So
I thought this kind of looked like, you know, the end scene in Planet of the Apes.
You blew it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn you to hell.
Damn you.
I love you, Dr. Zaius.
Damn you, dirty space.
Yeah.
So it almost looks like this has been around for so long that the Big Beeple's people astronaut decomposed from within inside the suit because you know, he's enveloped and you only see the top of him, and throughout the years the decomposed body has been excavated and now there's other things in here. It looks like people are using it to store things or something like that.
I didn't see that.
But that gives you an idea on this particular planet how long these people have been here, long enough to decompose and for there to be remains. So we're talking about a long span of history at this point. So
enough time for people to shrink, maybe.
Next we've got, well, January 30th, but who knows? Reformat is what we're looking for. This says January 31st. See, okay, what happens if I refresh? I'm just curious. Is it gonna change back? And nothing happened.
Now it's February 1st.
Right. All right. Reformat.
Neat.
This is
the only way to start over is to kill the task. These are robots. They wanted to start over, and so they kill themselves
Well, they killed
so that they can get rebooted.
You don't think that this military dude standing here reformatted them?
Nope, not at all. Or maybe.
To me, it seems like they fought off like a robot army or something. Or it could be aliens who were trying to stop them from terraforming one of these planets. We haven't had anything like that come up yet. You know, what happens when you run into other people while you're trying to terraform?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what if it was a planet with methane, breathable methane, and it was valuable to one planet, but not to them? They're trying to re-terraform and make it breathable oxygen, and the methane breathers were upset. So they reformatted
I don't know.
I thought it was a future reenactment of the Logan Paul YouTube video.
Oh, gosh.
Wait, I don't know what that is.
You don't know the Logan Paul thing?
No.
Where
he went into these woods in Japan.
He went into the suicide forest in like Japan or something like that, and then found someone who had killed themselves.
Oh, geez.
And put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then like got a huge backlash about it, and YouTube like dropped him or something like that. I don't know.
It was remember this.
Logan Paul is stupid. YouTubers are dumb. I say this as we're broadcasting on YouTube.
Broadcasting on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's gone down.
Yeah.
YouTubers are dumb.
Lastly, we're going to look at February 3rd, which I think was actually February 2nd. Super Bowl MMMXXXV.
I love his tweet that he put about the Super Bowl, and that he said, "I'm super excited about the big game," and then he put 3 basketballs. That was my favorite thing.
Oh, that's great.
3 basketball emojis.
Oh, Mike.
That's pretty. That's super cool.
Yeah.
You know,
it reminds me
robots and football.
It reminds me of the XFL.
Nah, it's like the Fox robots.
Oh,
right?
yeah, the Fox.
That's what that reminds me of.
NFL robot. Yeah, but that's the one he did for the big game, as they call it.
The big game?
Yeah. So I accidentally left my Beeple at my parents' house in their living room. And
oh, yeah.
Did
it have batteries in it?
Yes. So
oh boy.
I accidentally left it there, and after Christmas I was like, where is my Beeple?
Did your parents freak out?
No, they knew what it was. They already they knew. Yeah, but they were like,
because if you haven't heard the Beeple, like the actual toy Beeple with batteries in, it is the scariest thing in the world.
Well, and it can start going off a lot and get annoying, and that's exactly what happened. Is I was like, where did the Beeple go? And my mom was like, oh yeah, your dad got super annoyed by the Beeple, so he turned it like face down and stuck it in a corner or something. So he's like sitting in the corner in timeout.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
that's really funny.
Oh man.
2 of them.
Well, we didn't hit 3 hours, and I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. I'm gonna go get a puppy.
Phil, thanks.
I'll show everyone my puppy next week.
Yeah.
On the show.
Jeez. No, we'll hear it, right?
I really hope you don't.
Evan said XFL is coming back. Yeah, I think I heard that too. They're bringing it back. They're bringing it back, just like the Szechuan sauce.
Yep.
But we're gonna get out of here,
dude. Have you seen that? Like they brought back Roswell on the CW, and they're bringing back Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but it's basically just rehashes of the exact same story.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, the CW will
back in my day.
The CW will bring back the CW.
Right?
It'll get like super meta.
CW will bring back the WB.
The WB.
Because that's the WB.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll get the Frog, Michigan J Frog will come back.
Right?
Yeah. Anybody remember that?
That's funny. I do. Yes.
All right, let's get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review. You can also subscribe to us on your podcatcher of choice, help get our ratings up. Subscribe to our newsletter. Say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with a no Brograph, no Mograph tee. The limited edition Gate and D. Simone. By the way, the Brograph tees are going to kind of be limited edition here pretty soon, so you better get some of those. You
want to be OG.
Yeah, OG Mograph. What else we got? The Paul Babb, Feel the Babb 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. Paul Babb 2020, now more than ever.
Now more than ever.
And the Render Thing shirt and hoodie. You can get those on the site as well. And we got some other shirts coming to you pretty soon. We've also got the secret shirts that you can get in the Secret Shirts channel on our Slack channel. The Slack channel will be opening again probably at the beginning of March. So
Liam just said, "Are the Cool Fire shirts 20% off?"
Oh my god! Zing!
Zing!
Sorry, Mitch. We love you. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube and Brograph.com. And I think that takes care of it. If you want to find Phil Roberts or Raid Zero, where can you go?
Pretty much everything is at Raid Zero.
All right.
Yeah.
Easy enough, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Did you get Raid ZERO.com?
Zero. No.
Zero.
Oh.
No.
Well,
Raid, like with a zero.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that one? You didn't get that one either?
No.
So you have, okay, so everyone needs to know how to spell this. RAID ZER
zero. Number zero.
.com.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
Okay.
Raider naught. Yeah.
All right.
Liam put. So.
That's another UK thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
ZER naught. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here. Until next week, I'm Dave.
I'm Matt.
Have a good
Phil.
one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Later,
I stepped
bros.
on you. I
Yeah,
totally
you
stepped
did.
on you. Let's
Yeah,
try it
why
again.
would
Take
you
two.
do that?
We've done enough
Do
take
it
twos.
again.
All right. Until next week, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
I'm Phil.
Have a good one.
Later, bros.
Later, bros.
Yeah, I'll edit all that out. Just kidding. I don't edit anything.
Save as Matt. Episode 1. Bark.
That's super cool. It's nice because obviously I'm not going to come to all of the stuff until
Stuff
after August when Debbie gets back.
What? All right, I'm gonna go pick up a puppy.
Yeah, I'm going to go see if my kids are still alive.
All right.